Thank you, Dr. Turpin and the University of Alberta community for hosting us here today. Thank you to the Edmonton Iranian community for coming together and to lead us in this moment of shared grief. Thank you, Prime Minister and Minister Champagne, for making the extraordinary effort to be with us today to underscore the solidarity of the government and the people of Canada as this community grieves in such a profound way. Last Wednesday was one of the most tragic days in the history of this province, one of the largest single losses of life in our time as a community. And so it is fitting and necessary that we come together, people of so many origins, faith traditions, people from all across the world who together here as Canadians, and so many of you as members of the University of Alberta community, share this moment of grief. So many innocents with so much more to contribute to our community, now gone, leaving inconsolable pain in the hearts of their loved ones and a deep well of sadness and loss shared by all who knew them. Their personal stories collectively speak of the best and brightest in our community. Dedicated educators, successful professionals, talented entrepreneurs, gifted students, loving couples, parents, and children. Tributes are still pouring in, and it is clear that the victims were regarded with universal affection and respect by their colleagues, friends, and neighbors, no less so than here at the University of Alberta, which has been so deeply affected. Greater Edmonton is a city of just over 1 million people, and it is in many ways yet a small town, with the interconnectedness of its communities and the welcoming nature of its institutions like this great university. This sense of intimacy, of shared experience, has been deeply apparent among Edmontonians in the wake of this atrocity. It is startling how many can cite direct or indirect connections to the victims who have been lost. And everyone shares the understanding that this city and our province suffered a terrible loss. Whether their lives were taken by incompetence, by accident, or by design, we know that everyone on board that plane were victims of a chain of actions rooted in the all-too-human failure to resolve conflicts peacefully. Prime Minister, we have confidence that you and the Government of Canada will do everything within your power, working with the international community, to get answers, to learn what really caused this appalling destruction of innocent lives. Throughout our history, Canada, Alberta, and Edmonton have provided sanctuary for countless people seeking refuge and seeking new beginnings, including many of the 15,000 Canadians of Iranian origin living in Alberta today. And let me say a word of tribute to that community, a community that has made an oversized contribution to the prosperity and vitality, the dynamism of this province and this country, a community of extraordinary intellect, a culture of education, which is demonstrated by the large and growing Persian presence here at the University of Alberta, and one of the greatest ways in which the legacy of those whose lives were taken can be projected into the future will be to build, Dr. Turpin, on the brilliant presence of the Iranian Canadian researchers, academics, students, and professors at this place. Thus, it is all the more tragic that the dozens of Persian Canadians aboard Flight PS 752, having known the peace and security of living here, were claimed by violence during a visit to their land of origin. Moments such as this remind us how precious and how fragile peace and pluralism are. And so we are gathered today in one of the most ethnoculturally diverse cities on earth, mourning members of one community in particular within our multitudes who, even amongst themselves, hew to different faith traditions. On a day like today, even as we grieve for the enormous losses of our community, we should look around this room at our diversity, at our shared civility, at our tolerance and compassion for each other, and celebrate what we have built as Canadians from all backgrounds. We should resolve to remember the people that have been lost as exemplars of these Canadian virtues, and to tell the world of the vast human potential that was erased by an epic demonstration of human folly last week. And we resolve to honor their legacy in the future. And so on behalf of the government and the people of Alberta, I wish to express our deepest condolences to the loved ones who have been left behind, and to pay homage to the victims of Flight 752 and their families and friends. In Shakespeare's great tragedy, Romeo and Juliet, there's a sentiment that captures our cold January sorrow for the loved ones we have lost. Death lies on them like an untimely frost upon the sweetest flowers of all the field. May God rest their innocent souls, and may light perpetual shine upon them.